Just when we thought we had seen it all, new receipts that could rock the entire love and hip-hop universe were released, revealing Chrissy Lampkin and Mendeecees ES's toxic relationship. Now, hold on. What is really going on behind the scenes, and how did these two even get together? We have the evidence to show that something is wrong. We're talking about leaked messages, secret meetings, and rumors of a connection so shady that even the most devoted fans are shocked. But why is Yandi going crazy over it? She's caught up in this web of drama, betrayal, and plain messiness. And the ultimate betrayal was prearranged all along. This video is really hot, and I promise you won't look at Chrissy and Mendeecees as the same way after watching it. Press the like button because we're going to get into this messy, jaw-dropping scandal, and you won't be able to ignore it. Chrissy Lemon is well known as the hip-hop and love queen. I've changed, but for some reason I'm always in the middle of some drama. Well, believe what we found, and buckle up because this one is going to get really messy. Let's start by asking how Chrissy and Mendeecees even knew each other because, let's face it, they never really interacted on camera like that. However, behind the scenes, there's a different scenario. Before Men's even connected with Yandy Smith, he was going about in circles that were far too close to Chrissy's world. We exchanged favors, talked late into the night about business, and had mutual friends. Rumors circulated that money was being transferred in ways that weren't entirely legal, while Chrissy and Jim Jones were dealing with all of those financial issues. Now, sources are asking, guess who was in the mix helping make those transactions disappear? Yes, Mendeecees is himself, and while you wait, things become worse. The relationship between Chrissy and Jim was always a roller coaster. We watched her pop the question on national television, but he turned around and avoided getting married for over 10 years. But what if I told you that Jim wasn't just being himself? What if there was another reason why Jim was acting so funny? Oh no, we have sources saying there were rumors about it. The reason is that there is a certain person who has a history of creeping where he shouldn't be. You're all following me here because this situation is about to get out of control. I want to propagate rumors, but let's be clear that's exactly what we're here to accomplish. An unnamed insider who is aware of the situation, Jim Jones, was caught sneaking into and out of Chrissy's old condo during a period when she was out of town for a few weeks. You already know where he is going, so before you say, oh, maybe he was just handling business, explain why these meetings were happening at such a late hour and why no one was supposed to be aware of them. As you may know, Mandy's business always gets a bit too involved. The worst part is that Yandi lost it when she found out about these alleged business deals. According to sources, Yandi doesn't play when it comes to her man, and she couldn't even ignore the warning signs when this story started to circulate. Yandi confronted Mandy about his relationship with Chrissy, and let's just say that things did not go well. She started asking him questions that he couldn't answer and bringing up receipts that he thought were buried. But as she dug deeper, things started to seem off. This is where things get complicated because Mandy doesn't just deny anything. Oh no, he uses the age-old tactic. Why are you bringing up old stuff? He told Yandi that she was making a mistake when she questioned him about those late-night visits regarding the timing of specific transactions. He didn't tell her she was mistaken. Instead, he simply became very quiet, which is something we all know about men who become quiet when they're pressed. It's a sign that something is wrong. Additionally, keep in mind that Chrissy and Yandi have been at odds for years. After learning that Chrissy and Mendeecees may have been acting shadily behind her back, Chrissy called Yandi messy and disrespectful, and even accused her of trying to control Jim's career. Oh, you know, Yandi was ready to leave, and she did, but she wasn't going to let things go. Instead, she arrived with all the smoke and receipts, and from what we've heard, Chrissy wasn't ready. Picture this: a private event with an exclusive guest list, and as the cameras roll, Yandi enters the room calmly, but knows that this is the dangerous kind of calm that she approaches. I got something for you. Chrissy says, so, how long have you been playing with my husband and baby I? While looking her in the eye. The quiet in you could hear a pin drop in that room. Chrissy was shaken and attempted to laugh it off by claiming Yandi was overdoing it. But Yandi wasn't having it. She produced screenshots of transactions and texts that seemed way too personal for business purposes. And when Chrissy tried to dismiss it, Yandi revealed the truth. That's where part 1 begins. But believe me, it only gets more crazy from here. Part 2. Oh, we're going even deeper into the madness. Stay locked in, because the scandal is just getting started. I have someone who saw you two together, and they're ready to talk. Had screenshots, timestamps, and most importantly, someone who had seen it all. You all already know how. Chrissy gets when she's backed into a corner, she doesn't fold easily. So what does it do? She was always prepared for a comeback, always 10 steps ahead, and appeared to have been caught completely off guard. Girl, you must be really bored to be making up stories like this. Aicha, she said, laughing in Yandi's face as if the entire situation were a joke. Despite her discomfort, Yandi pulled out her phone, touched the screen, and said, "Listen to what this person has to say." She also added, "You might want to hear what," before you burst out laughing. The audience went hushed as the real hubbub started. This is where things get complicated. The mystery witness is none other than a former associate of Mendeecees, who used to handle specific transactions for him. However, who was this person, and how did they have intimate knowledge of Chrissy and Mendeecees' alleged business? Let's call him that. Chrissy's demeanor briefly changed, but Yandi took it as a sign of concern, and that was all Yandi needed. Dre had been with Mendeecees for years, so he knew how Mendeecees worked, who he met, where he transferred his money, and most importantly, who he was hanging out with when he wasn't with Yandi. Let's stop and think about this for a moment. Because at this point, Chrissy was still trying to act unconcerned, sipping her drink as if Yandi's words didn't matter. But when Yandi hit play on the phone recording, everyone in the group started laughing because it was so clear that Dre was talking about how he personally drove Mandy to Chrissy's multiple times. The part that really shocked him was when Mandy told him, "I keep this low-key, I don't need no extra eyes on me." Mendeecees told me himself. Dr. Dre went on to say that he continues coming back because Chrissy is over him right now, and the tension in the room is so high that it told me himself. Dr. Dre went on to say that he continues coming back because Chrissy is over him right now, and the tension in the room is so high that a knife could cut through it. Yandi was laughing so hard that she leaned in and said, "You want to laugh more now, or should I continue?" as Chrissy's demeanor shifted from cocky to cold. At that point, Chrissy, "You really think I have to explain myself to you?" she yelled, getting to her feet so quickly that her drink spilled and, landing squarely in Yandi's face, gesturing with her finger as if she were about to throw her hands. "It's embarrassing that you reached Yandi over some phony-ass recording. But here's the..." She produced a text thread between Mendeecees and Chrissy that had been received from an anonymous source, proving that she wasn't just talking. It wasn't particularly romantic, but the wording was suspicious as hell. Mendeecees is, "Are you sure everything is good?" and no one is asking Chrissy. "You know, I've got this. Just keep taking care of what needs to be done, as long as you keep your end tight. I won't be worried about anything, tell me. Do you think that sounds like just business to you?" Also remember that Jim Jones and Mendeecees D's were never cool like that. So why was Mendeecees D's handling anything for Chrissy, unless there was more to it? At this point, Chrissy was furious and turned to the audience, shaking her head as if Yandi was insane, and you all truly believe this nonsense. However, not everyone in the room was supporting her. Some were just laughing at her whispering, and you know how doubt spreads quickly once it enters. So Yandi gave her a final blow. "If it's all lies, Chrissy, why do you look so uncomfortable right now?" Boom, Chrissy was finished, grabbed her purse, rolled her eyes, and stormed out. You already know what happened next. Thanks to the internet went crazy. Videos of the altercation were leaked within hours, blogs took notice, Twitter was in ruins, and people began to seriously question whether this was true, because, see, Mendeecees D's hasn't addressed anything. He didn't deny it. He didn't try to clear his name. He just remained silent. And if we Mendeecees D's loves to defend himself, so why wasn't he speaking up now, unless he knew he couldn't? Yandy was done with him at this point. She took her kids out of the house and, according to sources, stopped returning his calls. Now this isn't just a trivial argument because what if what Yandy was saying is accurate, then Mandy has been deceiving her for years. Additionally, it indicates that Chrissy has been acting slightly throughout this entire period. Finally, the most important question of all is what exactly Chrissy has over Mendeecees ES. Since Dre mentioned that Mandy's told him she had something on him and that my friends were only scratching the surface, because believe me, it goes much deeper, and in part 3, oh, we're going all the way there. This is the part that left everyone stunned. How could Chrissy possibly know that Mendeecees is still acting according to her rules? And why hasn't Jim mentioned any of this is far from over. At first, some believed that Mendeecees and Chrissy might have had a past relationship that Yandi was unaware of, such as something that existed between them before Jim and before Yandi. However, that theory didn't last long because new information began to surface, and this was the part that shocked everyone by revealing information that altered the entire story. According to the so-called industry insider, who claims to have been in the business for years, Mendeecees allegedly had a history of illegal activity. But as we all know, Mendeecees has already spent time involved in drug trafficking. However, it appears that there is more to that story than we knew because, according to this insider, Chrissy was not only involved as an outsider, but also had connections to some of the same people Mendeecees was dealing with. Let's take a moment to consider that if that is the case, then things take a completely different turn. This isn't just about sly texts and secret meetings. It's about Chrissy having actual legal power over Mendeecees ECs, which is why he can't cut off contact with her because she might start talking, and Mendeecees ECs can't afford it. That being said, let's go back a little, because this part is crazy. It seems that in the early 2000s, before Menace was imprisoned, he and Chrissy met in an unexpected way. Chrissy has always been involved in criminal activity. You may recall that she was moving with some real power players in the past when Mendeecees was first imprisoned. He likely believed he was leaving all of that behind, but Chrissy didn't forget, and more significantly, she kept receipts, because according to insiders, she knew a bit too much about his business dealings. This part is going to make your head spin, because people started piecing together and realized that this isn't true. Chrissy has information that could put Mendeecees in serious trouble, which is why he can't ever completely leave her. Because he owes her, and she apparently never lets him forget it. When Chrissy first used information as leverage, she wasn't just a Jim Jones girl. She was surrounded by some of the biggest hip-hop stars. Let's just say that she knew things that people didn't want to be known, which is why she was able to move in the way that she did. Cross her? Because she would start talking if they did. Now that it appears Mendeecees-esque is just another victim of her web things. Get even more complicated because, as you may have noticed, Jim Jones hasn't said anything, not even a tweet or a statement, and let's face it, Jim isn't the kind of person who keeps his mouth shut. Some people claim that he already knew about Chrissy and Mendeecees' arrangement, so why is he suddenly acting as though he doesn't see what's happening? Perhaps he doesn't want to smoke because, after all, if Chrissy has dirt on Mendeecees, who's to say she doesn't have dirt on Jim as well? That's why he's remaining silent now, after everything she's been through with Mendeecees. This was probably the last straw if the rumors are accurate. Yandi just avoided a bullet. Because, let's face it, she, left with the kids, packed her bags and dipped. What is she doing since Chrissy has been harboring resentment toward Mendeecees for years? Who can say that this drama won't eventually catch up with him? Well, the damage is already done. Chrissy's reputation has never been the best, and this only serves to fuel the fire. So he must now face some serious questions. And Yandi may have just prevented a worse catastrophe, but the real question is whether Chrissy will speak up, because if she does have information about Mendeecees, what's stopping her from disclosing it? Or better yet, what if she already does, What if that leaked text thread was simply the starting? Do you think Chrissy is truly harboring something against Mendeecees, or is this just another case of messy industry drama? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. What if Chrissy spills the beans and leaves men in Washington, D.C. with nowhere to go? This story isn't finished, and trust me, we'll be here to break it all down when the next piece of tea comes out. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Click that icon to indicate which side you support. Turn on your notifications and get ready, because this story is only going to get wilder. I'll see you in the next one. Boiling. Since I already know that the comment section will erupt, I must ask what you all believe is going on here. Is Chrissy playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers? Is Mandy really stuck in a situation from which he cannot escape? More importantly, what is Yandi going to do next? If this drama keeps going this way, I wouldn't be surprised if someone soon reveals even more receipts. We're not done yet, and trust me when I say that an update on this situation will make it even more crazy. If you want the latest messy and explosive celebrity scandals, please leave a comment below and let me know which side you support. Additionally, if you want to stay up to date, click the like or subscribe buttons to turn on those alerts. I'll see you all in the next one.